Good day everyone. Welcome to the C++ or the Basic Computer Languages subject. For our lesson 1, we will discuss the basic computer components. So for our learning outcomes, at the end of this module, you are expected to, number 1 is to identify the important components of a computer and its function, and number 2 is to distinguish the different hardware of a computer. Before we proceed to the software and the hardware of a computer, let us define first what is a computer. So a computer po is an electronic device that can store, retrieve, and process data. It also manage information. So ang paggamit po ng computer is depende po sa tao. For example, kung gusto niyo pong mag-edit ng mga images, pwede kang gumamit ng Photoshop or different editing application. If you want to send messages to the other people, you can use different website or different social media sites to send your messages. So, halos lahat pwede na pong magawa ng computer. So, depende na lang po yun sa pangangailangan or sa purpose kung saan nyo po siya gagamitin. So, what is a computer hardware? So, computer hardware is the collection of physical elements that constitutes a computer system. So, when we say computer hardware or hardware, ito po yung mga physical or tangible objects ng computer. Ibig sabihin, ito po yung mga nahahawakan po natin na part po ng computer. So, there are different components of a computer. First one po is the case. Another is the power supply, motherboard, expansion cards, storage devices, and input and output devices. First one is the case. The computer case is a plastic or metal enclosure that houses most of the components. So this is the outer layer part of the system unit of the computer. So ano po ba nagagawa ng case? So ang case po is yung nagpo-protect ng mga components or yung pinaka-importanting components po na nakapaloob dun po sa system unit. Next, it's the power supply. The power supply unit or the PSU converts alternating current, electric power to low voltage DC or direct current power for the internal components of the computer. So, ang power supply po ang nagbibigay buhay sa computer. So, without the power supply, hindi po gagana ang ating mga computers kasi siya yung nagko-connect from the motherboard to the direct to the electricity. So, yung laptops po is meron po tayong mga built-in batteries na kung saan wala na po silang mga power supply. So, ibig sabihin, gumagana po sila kahit hindi po sila nakasaksak direct sa kuryente. Dahil may mga built-in batteries po sila. Next po is the motherboard. The motherboard is the main component of a computer. Why? Because andito po lahat ng mga pinaka-importanteng mga components po ng computer like CPU, RAM, ROM, CMOS battery, the DVD, the power supply. So, nakakonekta po lahat, halos lahat ng pinaka-importante pong components po ng computer. So, ganito po ang itsura ng motherboard. Nandyan po yung CPU, RAM, ROM, CMOS battery, the different expansion buses, the expansion cards, video card, sound card. So, dyan po nakakonect lahat ng components po ng computer. So, what are the components inside the motherboard? Those are the CPU, RAM, ROM, buses, and CMOS battery. One component inside the motherboard is the CPU or the Central Processing Unit. So it performs most of the calculation which enable a computer to function. So kung sa tao po, ang mahalaga po ang brain natin para mabuhay po tayo or para magalaw po natin yung mga ibang parts po ng katawan natin, ang computer po, ang pinaka-brain po niya is yung CPU. So, without the CPU po, hindi po gagana ang computer. So, ganito po ang itsura ng CPU. So, meron pong dalawang manufacturers ng CPU na pinakasikat po ngayon. The first one is the Intel and the second one po is the AMD. Most new CPUs include an on-die graphics processing units, which is yung graphics po is ito yung nag-generate ng mga images po ng ating mga computers. Another component inside the motherboard po is the random access memory. So the random access memory or the RAM stores the code and data that are being actively accessed by the CPU. Next one po is the read-only memory or the ROM. The read-only memory or the ROM stores the BIOS that runs when the computer is powered on or otherwise begin execution, a process known as bootstrapping or booting up. So ano nga po ba talaga ang pinagkaiba ng RAM sa ROM? Ang RAM po is a non-volatile, which means temporary po yung na-store niya na data. Kapag naka-off na po or na-turn off na po ang computer, mawawala na po yung mga na-store niya na data. Unlike po sa ROM na kung saan volatile po siya, which means the data stores permanently. Example po nito is yung pag nagbo-boot po ang computer or pag nag-start po ang computer, kahit mamatay po or ma-turn off na po ang computer, nandun pa rin po yung data for booting. Yun po ang read-only memory and the random access memory. Another po, ito pong RAM at saka ROM, these are the primary memory of a computer. Again, RAM and ROM are the primary memory of a computer. Next one is the buses. So buses connects the CPU to various internal components and to expand cards for graphics and sound. For example, ang mga computer po or yung mga nabili nyong mga computer ay walang sound card, walang LAN card, walang graphics card or video card. Dito po sa mga buses po na ito, pwede po kayong maglagay or mag-insert ng pwede nyong bibilhin sa mga market. So, once na bumili po kayo sa market, pwede nyo pong i-insert dito sa mga buses po na ito para at least magkaroon po kayo ng mga different cards such as graphics, sounds, LAN card, and so on. Another po is the CMOS battery. CMOS battery is also attached to the motherboard. This battery is the same as a watch battery or a battery for a remote to a car central locking system. So, ang pinaka-function po ng CMOS battery is ito po yung dahilan kung bakit updated po ang date and time po ng ating mga computers. Next one is the expansion cards. The expansion cards are the printed circuit board that can be inserted into an expansion slot of a computer motherboard or to the expansion buses na na-discuss po natin kanina. So, for example, hindi po available yung lalagyan or pinag-i-insertan ng speakers, microphones, or ng mga earphones po sa isang computer. Itong mga expansion card po na ito is pwedeng magamit para magkaroon po kayo ng mga sasaksakan po ng mga earphones po, mga mics or speakers. So, this is an example of expansion cards. Malimit din pong ginagamit ito sa mga LAN cards. Ayan po, example po nito. So, let's proceed to the storage devices of a computer. So, sinabi ko po kanina na the primary storage of a computer are the RAM and ROM. Ang mga secondary memory naman po ng computers are the external or examples po nito is yung mga hard drive, floppy disk, CDs, and flash drive. So, computer data storage, often called storage or memory, refers to a computer components and recording media that retain digital data. So, data storage is a core function and fundamental component of a computer. So, importante po magkaroon ng mga storage ang mga computer po natin, especially yung hard drive, dahil dito po na-store lahat po ng mga data or mga files po na kinikreate po natin sa mismong computer po natin. And then, For example, naubusan po tayo ng storage sa hard drive, syempre gumagamit po tayo ng mga flash drive, ng mga iba't iba pa pong external storage. Ayan po. Let's talk about the difference between input devices and output devices. So, input devices allows the user to enter information into the system or control its operation. So, input devices, ito po yung mga devices or mga physical or tangible objects na pwedeng i-insert sa ating computer na kung saan sila po yung nag-e-enter po ng mga data sa mismo pong computer po natin. While the output devices, these devices display information in a human readable form or sila po yung nagdi-display ng mga in-input po nating mga data. These are examples of input devices. First one is the keyboard, na kung saan ang in-enter po niyang data to the computer are the letters, numbers, and different symbols. The numeric keypad, na kung saan malimit na ginagamit po sa mga ATM machines. Dito po natin ini-input kung magkano or yung amount po ng i-withdraw natin, at the same time yung PIN code po natin. And then, yung pointing devices naman po, such as mouse, na kung saan siya po yung naging dahilan kung bakit na-open po natin yung mga files or yung mga applications po na ginagamit or gagamitin po natin. Next po is yung mga remote control, na kung saan ginagamit po sa mga televisions. Ang ini-enter po nito is yung mga channels po na pinapanood natin or papanoorin natin. Next po is the joystick, na kung saan malimit po ginagamit ito ng mga gamers. Another examples din po siya or under po siya ng mouse. And then yung touch screen, pwede po tayo mag-enter dito ng mga data such as numbers, letters, for example, yung mga mobile phones po natin. And then yung scanner, na-scan po natin yung mga data, which is pwedeng pumasok rin po ito sa ating mga computers. Graphics tablets, na kung saan pwedeng ma-input nito is yung mga handwritten or yung mga drawings po natin. For the microphone, ang nai-input po nito is yung mga sounds. Digital camera, it inputs different images or videos, the same with webcams. And the last one po is yung mga light pens. Pwede rin po siya mag-input ng mga drawings po, and at the same time, ginagamit din po siya as pointing devices. And then, sa output devices naman po, ang examples po ng mga output devices natin are webcams, monitor. Sa webcams po, ang dinidisplay niyo po yung mga images and videos na na-capture po natin. And then, yung monitor po, ang dinidisplay niya po is yung mismong laman po ng ating computers. And then, printer, ang binibigay naman niya po sa atin is yung mga printable na nasa bond paper or kung saan man po natin pinrint. And then, yung mga speakers, sound po yung inilalabas or output po na, pinaka-output po nila. So, ang output devices po and input devices, meron pong chance na ang isang device is pwedeng maging input at the same time, output devices. Examples po nito is yung mga digital cams, na kung saan pag nag-capture po tayo ng mga videos or ng images, nagkakaroon tayo ng nagiging input device siya. Once na din-display niya po yung mga images and videos po na capture po natin, saka siya magiging output. And for our last one is the software. So, the software is used to describe computer programs that perform a task or tasks on a computer system. So, there are 3 categories under software. First one po is yung system software. Ang nakapaloob po dito sa system software is yung pinaka-operating system po ng computers po natin. Example po ng operating system ng computers or the Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Ubuntu, Linux, and so on. So, under naman po ng utility programs, ito po yung mga programs or mga applications na nakakatulong po sa ating computer para mapangalagaan siya. Example po is yung mga antiviruses, phishing detectors, malware detectors, and so on. And the last one naman po is yung mga application software, na kung saan ito po yung mga applications or mga programs na ginagamit po natin for a specific task. For example, Photoshop for editing of pictures or images, Adobe Premiere for editing of different videos, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Presentation, Microsoft Excel for your assignments, and so on. So, yun po yung different categories po ng under ng software. So, for our references, these are our references. Book of Bogs de Castro, different links from different websites. So, that's for today, and thank you.